Back.
Do you have an
Yeah,
accent when we say
we're
hello?
back.
No day. Hello, friends. How are you guys doing? Long time no
Yes,
see.
Hello, everyone.
It's
I'm doing
been
well.
2 weeks.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's been crazy. We just kind of shared backstage. A lot has happened in everyone's lives, I guess. I haven't shared mine yet, but I was just so impressed at the magnitude of what my two friends shared here. But no, I guess I'll share really quickly what went on for my past 2 weeks that I think it's worth delving into. Obviously, the D&D in a Castle event has been great. It's one of the first experiences that I had where the people that hired me value me more than I value myself.
Mm,
So I came up with a final amount in terms of the fee and how I service the project. They came back to me and said, we really want you to make this worth it for yourself. So let us know how much more we can give you, kind of a thing. And yeah, it was one of the weirdest experiences when you see someone value you more than you. So it's like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, it felt like a mother kind of vibe.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously they see their children as better than the children see themselves sometimes.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But coming from someone that wasn't that figure, it was very, very heartwarming, and it kind of makes what I do feel worth it and of utmost value. So that was a great thing. A second thing was I finally got linked up with the world number one and Olympic champion and world champion of badminton. So I got to interview him last Friday.
Mm,
So that was
Wow.
definitely an amazing experience. But I think it's also cool that it's a great opening for more opportunities, because now that I've
Mm.
interviewed him, he's on top in terms of the whole industry. So anyone else that I'd like to get is more accessible now. So,
Wow.
right.
that's kind of the two cool things that happened in my life. But I know you guys had
That's a big
really,
deal, man.
yeah, yeah, no,
Yeah,
It is huge. It is
I
huge.
won't
celebrate.
It
play it
is huge.
small.
Celebrate.
But
Yeah.
I'm gonna say it's no big deal. Sunglasses coming down, kind of thing. But
Unbelievable. Yeah.
because I know that for all of us here and people that are watching too, opportunities will keep coming if we just follow on the path that
Mm.
we're serving others, and with what we love ourselves. So, um, but yes, for you guys, Luke, if you don't mind sharing how your 2 weeks were
Yeah,
prior
my
to this.
2 weeks were without getting into kind of the specifics of things,
Yeah,
my dad was sick, so spent 2 weeks in kind of um, just being with him. So,
yeah,
it's just the little things. So it's good to see that he's out of the woods, and hopefully in the next few days, weeks, well, not weeks, but hopefully in the next few days he'll be out. So I'm actually
yeah.
going to be seeing him today, just spend some time with him. So yeah, just bonding on a different level. So he's definitely missing my daughter. So that's 2 weeks for me. On another note, at least the start of this week was quite an amazing experience, because I finally got a good my human design profile
Cool.
read to me.
That's
Man, that was
awesome.
it is so
Oh, that's
incredible. It was
So,
so
Luke,
mind
awesome.
blowing. Yes.
are you a generator? Are you a manifester, projector, or reflector?
Projector.
Wow. Very
I'm a
few are
We're
projector.
projectors.
not we're not talking about the equipment, right? Sorry, I don't know the
Yeah.
equipment.
Anyways, I cut you off there, Luke. This is amazing because there's some synchronicity I'll touch on.
Oh
Yeah,
man,
yeah,
where,
yeah.
where do I
Please,
take the
please,
test? Now
please.
now I gotta jump in. Where
Just
where is
just go
this
to
thing?
human design.
Right.
Jovian. Yeah, it's just so much to it, because you can take the test for free, but you definitely need to get someone to read it for
Yeah.
you, because the key is it's not what you get out spit, but
Oh,
there's so many dimensions to it.
but do you guys know
So
anyone
It
that
is
can
your
read it?
strategy for living life, how you're
yeah,
meant to live, your strengths, your
Okay.
gifts that are
Oh,
shown to
100%.
you based on your astrology. So your
okay,
exact
okay.
birthday time and location. And
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
also you
okay.
need chakra and I Ching, believe, right, Luke?
Oh, I
Yeah,
Ching.
I
Okay, okay.
Ching, Chakra,
So, I Ching and okay.
Ayurveda.
Oh, like
There's
all
so many,
combinations.
yeah, so many
Okay.
dimensions to it.
Yeah.
And
Numerology. Numerology.
Numerology.
Numerology.
Numerology.
Numerology.
Numerology.
Numerology. Numerology.
I think I was integrating Spanish numero uno with numerology.
Numerology. Okay, that's number one. The study of the number one. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, exactly. Study of being number one.
Yeah. Which is really cool too. I think that'd be being a champion. Yes, it's on my
Wow.
slate of
Yeah,
champion. But
indeed. There we go, champion. But
no, that's amazing.
yeah,
I'd love to, if you have the link you'd like to share on
sure.
the
I'll send. I'll just look up
fantastic.
the link.
And
So
it's
you are
But
a
I
also
think
interesting to
projector.
see how other people
Projector.
interact with each other too. Once you know your human
Indeed.
design.
Indeed.
That's so
Indeed,
cool. That's so
indeed.
cool.
It's really, really like I mean, I'm at the start of this journey in that sense, but I think the key learning is learning the key aspect was which I was trying to work out for all of my life, really. And the key insight was to trust my instinct because I'm driven by my spleen. I'm known as splenic. So you awesome. And
Wait,
the thing is
Hispanic?
that when you don't
Sorry.
yeah, Hispanic. Numero uno.
Numero
It
uno.
all links up. There we go. That's why it came because I'm part Hispanic, as you can tell.
Splenic. Yeah,
Hispanic.
sorry.
Yeah, Hispanic. So learning basically what I want to kind of say is just learning to trust my instinct because I think all of us have an inner knowing. At least for me, I know I've always had, and because I've always been trying to rationalize, going into my monkey mind, trying to figure out things. When in essence, I know what feels right, and I need to learn to trust that, and that has been profound. So yeah, that was kind of my 2 weeks in a little bit of a nutshell. Human design and love for my dad, and support, I guess.
Man,
Beautiful.
fantastic. That I think that bond that you're talking about too. When people are in states that are vulnerable too, I think it comes back out a lot more. And funny enough, I constantly think about that. You know, where my close ones, my loved ones, when they're in very vulnerable situations, how does my emotions kind of react? Because I think it's a really tough state to constantly be in. But because my dad has, he passed a while back, so I had that experience of, the last 2 years that he was alive. It was really challenging, like tons of hospital trips, constantly have to be next to him, and then it was like rotation with the whole family of taking care of, one individual being, because the energy becomes like it sucks energy in, but then again, it also brings everyone closer. So I think there's
Definitely.
definitely a win in that too. But yeah, I have my chart here too. I just went in. Is it under
There
Jenna
you
Zoe
go.
or Jenna Zoe?
No, Jovian archive, I think.
Oh, I'm a
From what
projector
I know.
too. Cool.
Are you?
What?
Oh,
You
There
got
you
two
go.
projectors on this call?
Well, what is projector?
Wow.
Sorry. Oh, okay,
What are you, by the way, Andre?
I'm a
Yeah.
generator. So 67% of the
Ah,
world are generators.
67. Okay.
wow.
And there's only a few subset that are projectors and reflectors
Right.
and manifestors.
Right, yeah.
Man, you know how to read this then, I assume.
The seer.
Being-
So people who can see a better, more efficient or upgraded approach to specific things, and you're here to share that with
Ah,
others. Cool.
uh,
So yeah,
Yeah.
that's cool, man. You got two
yeah.
projectors on this call. I'm freaking surprised. And you have a lot of channels open because whatever's colored
Yeah,
in is your gifts.
definitely. Definitely. That's what I
Wait, was
noticed
it?
as
Oh,
well,
man.
man.
It sounds
Wow.
cool, but I don't know what you guys are talking about at all. But this sounds awesome. So what
Yeah,
does that
we're
mean?
gonna have a talk. Okay, we're gonna have a talk on
Okay,
this
okay, okay,
human design.
okay,
Yeah,
okay.
Okay,
no, please,
Uh,
please. I don't know
cool.
much about a lot about it, so I think I'll be tapping into
yeah,
your wisdom, Andre.
because
Yeah,
the
yeah,
more
yeah, yeah.
people that know this, the
Yeah.
better.
The
The
better.
better it
Okay.
Yeah.
is.
You know what? Let's make it a session. Maybe not this one, or it could be this one if you guys want to delve into it. But I don't know how much time do you usually need, Andre, in terms of these signs. So these are obviously the horoscopes or the zodiac kind of rotations,
Yeah,
or
there's so
the
much
what?
in depth. I just know the centers.
Oh,
So the
these.
heart
Okay, these ones.
center, the throat center, the head, the
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
spleen, which is on the far left, ego center. So you have the
Oh,
spleen as well. So that's instinctual.
Oh,
Right there,
instinct.
yeah,
Oh,
that's on.
nice.
Mm,
Yeah, so that's instinct. So the idea is that we listen to our gut more, and it should be a more of a rush
Ah,
of energy going up versus acting and forcing things to happen. So
mm,
we use that power by responding to our environment. So our
okay.
environment has so many stimulants and
Yeah, yeah,
signals
yeah,
to us,
yeah,
and when we watch for it, we can tune in with our spleen, our animal instinct,
yeah.
to make then instinctual decisions to move us
Right
forward,
away.
and then basically live life with ease and flow.
Oh, so I'm Hispanic too. I'm Hispanic. Numero
Yes.
uno.
Numero
Yeah, the
uno.
root. Yeah.
So root is
And the
kind of where
ones
the
that
net.
are open, are used for, allowing you to take on other people's. So you're a chameleon in those areas. You're
Nice.
able to shape shift and take on other
Mm,
people's stuff.
Actually, funny enough,
that's
my
why.
new
There
logo
we
for Chart
go.
Logic is a chameleon. So these are great, man. So
Ah,
whatever is kind of filled in means that's where my energy flow
It's
is,
your
or
it's your gifts.
mm,
oh, my
Yeah.
gifts.
mm,
So no
And the
gifts in,
channels as well. So anything that's connected, like the kinda
yeah, these ones.
orange line or black
Yeah,
line,
yeah,
there's a
yeah, yeah.
specific meaning for each.
Ah, oh, this is so cool. Holy shit.
Yeah.
and then
Okay, I'm like so impressed.
yeah.
Sorry, Luke. I stole the ground, but
No,
this is
please,
all
no.
because of you.
I think
But a
that's good that you
projector.
know you have. Yep.
Well,
So
would
these
love
are all
to,
the.
yeah, would love to get someone on here that does read this because that's not me. Like
Oh, okay.
Yep.
to share, yeah, in
Wait,
depth.
Yeah.
then for you to know this info, you must have had some
Yes,
inquiry
I've
with
Yeah.
had a
someone else,
session
right?
with
Oh,
someone
okay,
that
okay.
went in depth with me. Yeah,
Oh,
and I
okay,
have a
okay.
recording. So I'm gonna go
Hey,
through my recording.
Elizabeth. Good
Yeah.
morning to you
Hey,
too.
Hey,
Elizabeth.
Elizabeth,
Good morning.
good to see you.
We're we're talking
Good
about
morning.
what's it called? My human design. So
Human
Human
design.
design.
Yeah.
apparently we have
There's
two.
a guy that went on a 8-day vision quest and got it downloaded
Oh,
from.
oh, really?
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
From the designer.
Yes.
The Gina. That's what we call it. No, that's a good
Yeah.
designer, but anyway.
It's the creation, right? It's true.
Yeah, that's so true.
Yep.
That's so true. That's so true. Man, this is awesome. I'm really excited
Yeah.
to look into kind of the depths of it. Well, in Chinese there is 八字, which is like the eight characters basically, and they talk about
Mm.
the weight of your life. It's quite in the same similar concept. So 紫微斗数 is another one. Zhuge Liang, which was a general back then that figured out all the astrology and math too. Yeah, it's pretty
Hey,
cool. Yeah,
you've seen Naruto, right?
yeah, 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 yeah. Of
And
course,
and
of course.
Guy, you know,
Yeah, yeah,
Guy-san?
yeah,
No,
yeah,
not
yeah,
Ruko.
He's opening up
No.
the gates.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Those
Same
are your
thing.
gates. They call it your
Oh,
gates.
oh, that's awesome. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. The Shomon and all those stuff, right? It's super cool. Do you
yeah.
watch that, Luke? Naruto?
No, I haven't watched that before actually. The
Well,
Naruto,
this guy
is that a
guy, he's like Bruce Lee kind of. He's got kind of that bold cut, and but he's the only one that doesn't use any type of different types of skills, like tricky magical type skills. He's truly
Mhm.
a physical type guy. So he talks about,
Naruto?
yeah, Naruto is well, it actually means, when you eat ramen, the fish
Yeah, yeah.
curly thing that's
Okay.
on the side,
Right.
it's named after that because he loves ramen noodle. But
Ah.
but he's one of the underdog ninjas that got one of the strongest, like the demon beasts kind of put into him to control. And then when he grew up, he basically learns how to utilize that power. But there's a bunch of different stories of like different clans and stuff too. But it's one of the top
Wow,
like animes and
fascinating.
mangas that you can watch. But
Wow, wow.
it's a time
Super
suck, so
fascinating.
so definitely have some time. Maybe when you're visiting father and he's resting, you can
Yeah.
read that on the
Watch
side.
Naruto.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So you just stay
Naruto.
there and be watching. But yeah, so coming back to what Andre shared, he talks
Mm,
about opening gates and his power just kind of
mm,
multiplies as he opens up the different
Yeah.
gates. So yeah, this is a very similar concept, I guess. Eh? So
Yeah.
well, this is awesome. Environment, kitchens, was the places that are creative hubs. Oh, where people can commune. That's why I
mm.
do sit in my kitchen quite a lot. But anyways, I don't know.
Mm.
I'm just projecting it on myself. But projectors means that we project out a lot in terms of.
I'm not exactly sure what projectors
Oh,
do. Yeah.
okay.
Though they're rare. They're really rare and they serve a specific
Mm.
purpose. I know that manifestors, they're
Yeah.
the ones that come in and trigger
I'll
like a
start.
spark. They spark or
Yeah.
they leave and they create a spark. There's 67% generators, and generators are the ones that bring the energy to the world to
Oh,
create. So
okay, okay.
we come here to work. But a
Oh, okay,
lot of
okay.
us,
Mm.
we spend our energy in wrong ways. So the
Ah,
manifestors, the projected reflectors, to come here to like guide us.
yeah,
And
yeah,
they
yeah,
have
yeah.
this book where it shows all the type of the world leaders and
Mm,
like
Oh, what they are?
Obama is this and da da da
Yeah,
da.
yeah,
So
yeah,
you
yeah,
have
yeah,
a
yeah.
point of reference. Yeah,
Oh, so
yeah.
cool.
I'll send you the
And how
book
many of
after.
them are there, like in terms of the types?
Yeah, generator,
Yeah,
manifester, projector, reflector, and some people can be certain like percentage of manifester and
yeah.
certain percent of
Oh,
generator
ratios. Okay, okay,
ratios.
okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah,
a
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
a pure generator, so I'm just 100% generator.
It's work. That's amazing.
It's true
It's work.
because like
That's
I
awesome.
can rave and dance
Yeah.
with just water for all night. I realize I'm like what, and I realize I got so much energy I can work out for 2 hours and don't get tired.
Oh,
Got so
Yeah,
much
true.
wow.
energy.
There you
Yeah,
go.
Well,
I
but how about
mean,
Luke? He seems like he's that type too. But
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
like,
no, I act like a generator, and that's why I get burned. I get burnt. I get burnt out pretty
I get
easily,
burnt
so
out very
that's
Oh,
why
easily.
it's
okay.
yeah.
So you need to
I
ration kind of your energy.
so I think right now what I've learned from my reading is I need to stop acting like a generator, and
Mm,
my power
Oh,
is in loneliness, being able to be alone and being
I
able to just rest and be silent, and
yes.
that's where I can get the insights, because my shaded parts are all colored in. My top
Awesome.
is shaded, so
Yeah.
meaning that I'm directly from the source. This is shaded and this is shaded, but
Ideas,
I'm kind of
communication. Yeah.
open. I actually need to go back to the reading that I wrote
That's
some
so
notes, and I do
cool.
have some notes on projector. Can you
Oh
change
shoot.
types as you change? Are you stuck in one type?
I think it's
Do
based
you
on birth,
know,
right?
Andre?
So
yes, birthday,
Yeah, yeah.
time, and location. So if you think about it, there's no one that has your same frequency and code because they had
Mm.
to be born at the exact date and time and the same
place.
location, like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
latitude,
Yeah.
longitude.
I guess the people next to you in the hospital when you were born. Yeah, yeah, kind of shift off of it. Yeah.
Yeah, though it's
Yeah.
got to be the exact, right? And then maybe I don't know geographically, they're still in a different location.
It's like GPS wise. No, I'm talking about that's what I'm saying in the hospital when they're in the baby rooms. The ones next to you would have a similar life. So maybe I had like 8 projectors born at the same time. But
Yep.
It
but
reminds me of
anyways, the
Super
point is not
Saiyan
that. The
Dragon
point
Ball.
obviously is yeah, yeah. This is kind of a map in terms of seeing how you perceive life and the journey
It's
is
a
yeah,
strategy.
a strategy. Okay, okay.
Yes.
Man, this is
It-
amazing.
Okay. I've got a note. So question from my reading. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
projector. Your sole
Yeah.
purpose is to lead, to
mm,
guide the
Okay.
generators. Projectors are getting a deep calling to come forward, especially at this time. And it's about getting energy and insights from the brain, and basically to step up to hurt the generators, because that the generators are, for example, like Andre just shared, just like ready to go, can work and can grind through hours and hours of work. But
Wow.
projectors, like I
Can't.
speak from my example, I can't,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah,
need to
me
be
neither.
able to have time away from kind of grinding to be able to recover and also
Okay.
receive downloads and insights.
mhm.
So yeah,
Amazing, amazing. No,
interesting
thanks for
stuff.
sharing, and I guess we can talk a lot more because we're in the same well, not that we can't talk to Andre either, but, since we're the same people. But yeah, I
Mm.
did provide the link, in the comments, so, people do click in. We will find maybe our next, meeting next, Tuesday, Wednesday, we can find someone that can help us, just
Yeah.
guide us through.
It's safer to talk
Or
about it.
even this person, Jenna Zoe, we can probably find this person specifically.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there are a lot of people, I guess they probably have the system behind, and then they
Mm.
are readers themselves, probably as a
Yeah, I have
business.
a few people
Yeah.
here I could
Mm.
probably connect you, Romy, that do it. They're
Yeah.
learning it,
Mm.
they're coaching it, like they're the ones
Mm.
that
Oh,
give you the information. They're
cool.
the ones that interpret your design for you.
Yeah, yeah,
Mm.
yeah, 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 for
Mm.
sure.
Yeah.
According to this model, can you learn to change your perceptions for the benefit of you and others? Andre?
Mm. Um, I guess I mean you can always change your perceptions of it. All right.
Mm.
It's really to showcase like your strengths and weaknesses. So I don't
Mm.
find it being disempowered. It more or less is reconfirms why I am the way
Yeah.
I am,
Yeah, yeah,
and
Mm.
that
yeah, yeah.
Mm.
actually empowers me.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
also
It makes
focus
me
And
like
probably, right? It allows for
and
focus. Yeah.
both
yes.
focus and from my perspective, so it gives you permission to be who you truly are. I think the thing
Mm.
is, it's to me, it's permission, because a lot of times we feel like we need to. I feel like I need to be validated. I feel like I need to get outside information to feel like, okay, I'm doing on the right path.
Wow.
Alternatively, using the external world as feedback to be a certain way when I don't actually need to. I just need to be who I truly am, and I think it's the key to it is permission, because we second guess. I second guess myself a lot, but it's learning to not second guess, but being able to trust my unbiased, I would say, not intuition, but unbiased intuition and and instinct.
I
Because
think it says what,
intuition
like
could
we
be,
said, your crown, right? You like crown and then
yeah,
throat and then the heart.
crown,
I think
and
crown
crown
is
will be
inspiration. So I
source.
think trust your
Yeah,
inspiration almost, like
inspiration.
beyond
Yeah.
beyond the like beyond gut, because gut is quite, I think,
Mhm.
down here, the spleen, right? Or splanix.
Yes,
Yeah.
correct.
Especially when we're taught
Correct.
to think and work in a certain way.
Ah,
Correct.
yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes, exactly, exactly.
Behave,
Oh,
conditioned.
this is quite impressive. I'm really
Mm.
amazed by it. I will definitely explore a lot more, but we'll talk after about it, to see who we can get, because
Yeah.
no, this can, like, usually I'm really into, especially like during Chinese New Year, I would go onto YouTube, and in like Hong Kong and Asia, there's a ton of those fortune telling
Mm.
types that it's a huge business where they talk
Oh.
about your personal zodiac based on this year, what it would be like, but they
Mm.
also matched it with all the stars too, and saying what star is kind of landing in your space this
Mm.
year. So what will flow better, in terms of love, career, and what is it, money,
Mm.
I think, and health. So there's a lot of kind of different perspectives. But yeah, this is super fun. Sorry, I'm like making
Mm.
another chart for Asher actually. So I'm
Yeah,
like, this
yeah.
is so
I can tell
awesome.
you're containing your excitement, man.
So cool. It's so cool. I'm gonna like chart like everyone that I know their time of,
Well,
because usually, yeah, I think the time part is the, oh, my son's a projector
mm.
too. What?
What?
Oh, there
Whoa!
you go.
When it says digestion, does that mean you digested better or not? It says
I'm not sure.
digestion, cold food.
Yeah.
Oh, these customized videos cover two important elements: your digestion and your strongest sense. Oh, so yeah, there. The call to action is really direct. You actually you get to buy something when you click into it. So strongest sense is touch. Oh, this is awesome.
Mm.
Man, sorry. Oh
Oh,
yeah,
Wow.
he's like lower body and top crown. So
mm.
ideation. So the crown, uh, ajna, is that still part of head? That's still part of head, eh? The ajna and the crown. But anyways, okay, cool. I went down with this, and I went to for there too.
Oh,
The whole
he loves it.
family. Well,
There's no
and
family.
you talked about the interaction too, though, right? Like,
Yes, there's
yeah,
a
yeah,
dynamic between different people as well, and that's where the person people that study human design can explain that
yes,
dynamic.
yes, yes.
It's so much in depth. Yeah.
Now, curious, like Luke, how did you get into it?
Oh, because I was speaking to a friend
Yeah,
about it a while back, and I just did my profile, and she kind of did my reading,
yeah.
but not in detail. But this time, I could connect you with a coach as well, and
Yeah.
I probably had like a 2 hour session
Oh,
that she really went
wow.
in depth to everything, and I was just mind blown, and it just answered so many of my insecurities,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
also conflictions in life.
Mm. Mhm.
And by learning how to trust my instinct, to a certain degree, a few opportunities have popped up
Oh,
in
good.
literally in the week, in this
Wow.
week.
Wow.
So exploring them. So
Mm.
I'm actually gonna try it for my daughter as well. Thanks for the inspiration,
Oh yeah.
Romy.
I was like, every freaking person I know now, I'm like, they're gonna be charted. And I was all
Yeah.
like,
Yeah,
Yeah. You got to know
oh,
the time, right? Time and
yeah.
when.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's the tricky part. And good
Yeah.
thing my mom had my first photo in my life was by my mom with a chart saying my whole birth, time and weight and
Oh,
everything. So I'm like,
nice.
oh, I remember that photo, and that was really important to me too for Asher for some reason. So I'm like,
Mm.
wait, and then the time was really easy because we were in the hospital for so long that it wasn't our OB that was there delivering Asher. But then because we were there so long, our actual OB came in, and then she delivered Asher in 15 minutes. So it was like
Oh
super quick, yeah.
wow.
Because the comfort is there too, but also the kind of the solution offered was great. Because obviously
Yeah.
he didn't want to come out, so he's like,
Mm.
I want to stay in. But
So
no,
comfy.
this is fantastic. Okay, so let's move on to today's actual topic. That's
Well,
been
it kind
listed.
of relates to it, is it?
Yeah,
It's about creating and
exactly.
consuming. I'm being on the ground. So yeah.
100%, 100%. So, as Luke has shared, I find In my daily life right now, every time I look on my phone or look around the world, I always feel this kind of do I have this duty of creating for others, or do I consume what other people have create? And I always find that it is a balance. I don't think there's a right or wrong, uh, unless it's really extreme on one side.
Mm.
Let's say you keep creating and don't consume. I think that's sometimes you have no sense of reality. It becomes that way.
Mm,
And vice versa. If you keep consuming, you become such a passive and you just become a robot. Kind of like what social media is when you keep swiping through like stories and stuff like
mm,
that. So I'm always like to my
Mm.
students who I'm like, can you find that balance or inspiration for from consumption for your creation? So then that way there's kind of this inspiration and drive that you can consume and create at the same time to find this balance. But
100%. Right.
yeah, I'm interested in what you guys have in
Yeah,
terms of
absolutely. Like, because I'm in a creator mode right now, and the big shift
perfect.
for me was like last week talked about, or a couple weeks back, was learning copywriting, and I'm
Mm, yeah,
seeing
yeah,
my
yeah.
skill in that grow exponentially.
Awesome.
And I'm consuming other people's copyright material. Not to say like just the writing style, right?
Hmm.
To be able to
Hmm.
speak to the reader and learning from that and creating my style from it. So it's kind of like give and receive, give and receive.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
As
yeah,
I
yeah.
create, I'm also learning from other creators. And it's like this
Uh,
ecosystem of creators that are supporting each other and giving each other ideas. There's one post that I read that I resonate so much is that when I start writing, it's like I write a few words and I'm like
mm.
just chilling. And then I write again, I chill. And I go on Google and do some research, I chill and I
Mm.
write. And it ends up being like this really messy thing. It looks very ugly, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Though it's got to be that way. Then I start cleaning it up and I
yeah.
start tightening it and I start making it pretty. Because if I get stuck on finding the perfect first line, saying the right thing right there and then, I won't be able
Mhm.
to get started. So the
Yes.
creative process is just to start and
Mhm.
consume other material, then
Yes.
create. Consume,
100%.
then create.
mm,
So I
Yep.
see
mm,
that cycle of create, consuming working simultaneously.
Yes.
mm,
Yes.
mm,
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
this engine that kind of flows through. Yeah, being an artist too, definitely. In the beginning, when you don't really have your own style yet, you do have to kind of borrow thoughts and have perspective in terms of knowing what's out there. Because
mm,
without knowing what's out there, you don't know what you're unique
Mm.
in. It's only
Mm.
you've gone through kind of the grunt of seeing what's available. And that's why perspective is so important, and that's why I also love traveling and meeting new people, because you actually get to see more and more perspectives to see where you can exist in terms of your uniqueness, because
Mm.
everyone is unique, but it's how who can find it within the space that you're trying to exist in, right? So but yeah, Luke, how about for you in terms of consumption and creation, in
Ah,
your plans?
yeah. Good question. I mean, definitely great topic. And for me, I feel like at least while we're talking on human design, I
Yeah,
feel like a lot of my life I've been consuming information, consuming content,
yeah,
getting certification programs, and it reached a point where I just had like a whole long list of experience. And when do I start
yeah.
utilizing the experience? Because you can get into that kind of
Totally.
that whole
Rat
cycle of
race.
I want to learn, I want to learn, I want to learn and learn, and the next thing is you just have a library of information that you don't actually use to create and serve.
Totally.
So I
Mm.
think ever since learning to trust my instinct, my spleen, at least from the start of Monday, is just how can I now trust that I have all that I need throughout my whole life, all that I've learned to create something, but beyond that, create and serve. But beyond that as well is being unattached to the outcome, but just coming
Mm.
from the place. Because I think in social media, it's very easy to get attached to an outcome,
Yes.
like something that's physical, whether it's like, follows, or email subscribers, metrics, I would say. But I think something told me, I think it was you. I can't remember. I think it was you, Romy. You said a while back, your wealth is directly connected to how much you serve, who you
Yeah,
serve,
yeah,
and
yeah. We talked
the
about that.
impact. Yeah, and that really stuck with me.
Yeah.
So for me right now, at least for the past week, I've just been
Oh,
creating a course, and creating opportunities by learning how to trust, that I'm exactly where I need to be.
Yes. Yes.
So I think really being able to just facilitate that cycle of consuming what I need to and creating, and like you shared, Andre, just following that cycle. Because when I feel like for me, I can be in this whole creation mode, but I feel like sometimes through creation, I feel like the creation, or drawing a painting without having the knowledge of the specific strokes, specific styles, you don't really create something of depth. You need some experience, some skills to be able to
Yes.
do so. I think I found myself in creation mode without having a lot of skills, trying
Yeah.
to trying to do something that I feel like I wasn't ready for. So I think it's just being able to find that balance and that cycle between the both, and then being able to serve at the end of it. Why am I creating and why I'm consuming? It all leads to serving humanity, elevating
Amazing.
consciousness in my own way.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. No, this is fantastic topic. And I think it's there are a lot of derivatives that come out of this conversation too that we can jump into another, 2, 3 hour conversation really easily. Talking about, I just shared with the COC class, so a class that I mentor, about failing forward, and one of them
Mm,
is actually not attaching outcome to your character. A lot of people do that. High achievers do not attach what the outcome is to who they are.
mm,
They
mm,
maintain their positive image and confidence in terms of what they're doing. Like obviously, the
mm,
outcome might not have been ideal, but they were able to find what went wrong, what was the decision that triggered this outcome, and they're able to adjust. So for
Mm.
people, yeah, I think if you're trying to change and create something new for yourself, you're bound to fail. There's gonna be
mm,
challenges and failures along the way, but see them as kind of stepping stones to the greatness that you're seeking, right? So,
mm,
because yeah, a lot of people get stuck and then they quit because
Mhm.
it's too
mm,
challenging. But I think if you have a great goal, and like you, Luke, this kind of mission to serve a
mm,
greater group of people, and bring goodness to them, I think it's worth going through all the
mm,
challenges, right? But again, if
mhm,
you don't see it as a challenge,
mm,
like if you don't see that
mm,
challenge as negative, it's kind of this driving force, right? And that's where the creation comes in. I think consumption, that's the
mm,
easy part, where you're
mm,
just learning and you're talking about building library, like building your
Mhm.
mm.
assets, sure. Like I have a physical library here too that I don't read much, so I just kind of look through the pictures, and when the pictures are done, I'm like, oh, I'm done with the book. But that's only probably like 2% of the book. No, just kidding. I do now. I appreciate the reading, but a lot of it, like you said, when you don't actualize it, it just
Mm,
stays kind of dormant, back burner
mm,
situation. But sometimes I find when you do read enough or put yourself in an environment of learning, naturally some just suddenly there's that tipping point where everything just connects together. And
Mm.
like, whoa,
yeah.
finally I understand this. Or a certain result suddenly just pops up that
Yeah.
I think is super cool. It's like poof, it's like, holy shit, and how did this opportunity come about? But it was from all these past things that
Mm,
you did to create
Yeah.
this moment, and for you to
mm,
actually realize it at that moment too is also something. The
Mhm.
mm,
realization of something great is happening is not easy to be in the state of, I think, too. So no, I'm so happy for, well, all three of
mm,
us. Like I think we're
mm,
constantly just creating and putting in the time and the grind, even with our
mm,
personal kind of life challenges too. I think
mm,
that's what life is. I think, where you push yourself and life gets in the way, and you just learn how to manage that, and just keep growing and growing together
mm,
with good people. I think
mm,
it's very, very
mm,
important. So find your community. But yes,
Mhm.
anyone else want to share too in the comments, or the idea for yourselves of how you, when you guys create and you hit uh, a block, how do you guys treat that at the moment, right now, Andre
mm,
or Luke? Yeah,
Yeah, for me, it's just part of the process.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh, I've learned to understand my peak times. So my best
Mm.
creative moments are in the morning
Oh, cool.
Mm,
and when I fast as well.
mm,
So
mm,
my body's not using energy to digest. I've also decided that creating content an hour a day isn't going to cut it because I require some time to sit in it and be in that
mm.
space. So I've
Mhm.
decided to time block my mornings on Fridays to go to a coffee shop. So part
Oh,
of my human design, which I'm leveraging, is that I feed off other people's energy and the vibrations in the
Mm,
air.
cool.
So I'm not as productive being at home, though. If I'm at
mm,
Remedy Cafe, I am
Oh, nice.
mm.
feed off that
Wow,
ambient,
environment.
that energy in the environment. So I look at setting that up. Now, if I'm blocked, then I prime my environment, play some creative music, take a break, walk out, just
Nice.
step away. Though I
Yeah.
also don't burn myself out and respect that time block. And when I'm done because now I have a one day at a time mindset. One day
Nice.
at a time. It's all
Mm,
good.
Yeah, break
I'm done
down.
today. I get back at it tomorrow. Because I know when I
mm,
sleep and I wake up, I'm a
It's
new
new.
person.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
mm, mm.
Totally, totally. Yeah, I feel that way too. So, Luke, you yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Creating, I love what you shared, Andre. I mean, creating an environment and using space to be in that flow of creation and using music as well. I think music is key for me.
Yeah.
Certain, I'm as you for you as well, Romy. Music anchors certain states, certain modes that I'm in. You know, when I'm doing my accounts, I play a certain kind of music. When I'm creating and writing a blog post or whatever it is that requires more of the right brain, I'll play certain kind of music. So music is key for me, but
Yeah.
also I find that I I'm quite in tune with the energy. Especially when it's 7 a.m. My daughter wakes up. Although I don't hear her waking up, I can feel the energy shifts when the
Mm,
sun rises. So
cool.
I wake up about 4 a.m., sometimes 3:30, and I that is my sacred time from about
Mm,
4 to 6. I do my
mm,
breath work, and then I find that is me, just me, and I find that to allow for that creative flow, initially I when I I published a book many years ago, and this publishing a book taught me something where when you get that point where you get writer's block, when you
yeah, yeah.
first like, all right, I've decided dedicated 2 hours of my day today to just write 1,000 words, just
Mm.
1,000. That's it. And there were so many times when I was just sitting, the flash of the dot with
Yeah,
with nothing,
yeah,
an hour and a half later, and 1 hour, 90 minutes in, I get this flow of inspiration. So
yeah.
what that taught me is it's okay to sit in that space, that writer's
Mm,
block, and let inspiration rise when it needs to, because you can't force creativity.
mm,
Creativity just needs to come, just through insights and just through you being, silent and calm. So I think that's for me, it's just sitting in that space, waiting. And a lot of times it may not be at that point where I find that flow of creativity. It could just be there's so many times when I'm just walking, I'm just letting it sit in there, and all of a sudden an insight comes like, oh my goodness,
yeah,
yes,
Mhm.
that's it. And it
yeah,
doesn't feel like profound at that point in time. It
yeah.
just feels, oh, that was just a little voice and insight that came. But when you actually think about it, it's like, wow, it's your subconscious, call it your subconscious intuition, the source giving you
Yeah,
the information that you need. But I think it's all about being, for me, it's quiet, being quiet, being able to have time for myself to allow for that creation and that inspiration to come.
that's fantastic. Have
Mhm.
you have you
Mhm.
tried not executing the quiet time or the sacred time for yourself lately? The reason I ask is
Mm,
recently I've been kind of exploring the other side of how I think to see if
mm,
there's any opportunities that are available there. Like if I think a certain way, there's usually kind of the flip of perspective and be like, oh, have
mm,
I tried thinking of it from that perspective? Or if I
mm,
did this regularly for the past, 40
mm,
years of my life,
mm,
if I
mm.
did it some way else. But no, it's just an interesting adventure that I'm kind of
Yeah.
putting myself into, but um, potentially worth exploring. But I think it
Mm,
does give you obviously a lot. That's why you give it that time in the day, especially I find the most important time is that 4 to 6. That's where I am
mm,
also most creative and most attentive.
mm,
Even though really is dependent on the prior night's rest, right? So, um,
100%.
not that I sleep early
How
anymore,
much
but
alcohol you
I
drunk?
haven't
Yeah.
touched it for a while, but I've been drinking Athletic Greens, so I jumped onto
Oh,
the
there you.
bandwagon, which is it's great. Like I've been getting my vitamin D and E, and I'm all like 75 nutrients apparently. But I just drink it because I'm like, okay, one thing can take care of a lot. That's great. So I actually been feeling way clearer. But then again, at the
Mm,
same time, I'm also pushing myself a little more too, so a little
Mm.
later in the night. But yeah, worth exploring for people. I think this perspective of knowing yourself, Luke. I think when you shared about
mm,
the human design part, it really triggered
mm,
everyone here. We're like, oh crap, this is so
mm.
exciting because we can get to know
Yeah.
ourselves um, in a different light than
Yeah.
another system, right? So,
Yeah.
but yeah, Andre, like you're
Yeah.
like
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, for sure. And you kind of talked about like you doing these experiments on yourself, right? Why not try the opposite?
yeah,
Mm,
One way is cool is like, respecting your time block.
yeah,
And then at first, like you're doing anything new is going to take a lot of time, right? So you're
yeah,
going to
yeah.
experiment what works best. But
Okay.
let's say you get into a groove.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna be like, you know what? I'm gonna respect that time, though I'm gonna increase my volume. So that means that you're improving your productivity.
Sure, sure.
So by doing that, now that gives you a reason to tweak your behaviors to make it more
Hey,
efficient. Because
yes.
my question is it worth the time when you realize you only have one life to experiment with all
mm,
these methods if you found a
mm,
method that's already effective and sticking
mm,
with it?
Yeah,
mm,
yeah.
mm,
I totally see what you're talking about in terms of
mm,
it's already supplying an output that's ideal,
mm,
right?
mm,
So it's like, do you want to shift the input?
Mm,
But then again, it's like, can I also, because my life is only once, can I experience more experiences?
mm, mm,
So
yeah.
like, I figured out when I'm playing badminton or any sport, I would put on my right shoe first always and then left shoe. And then
mm,
how I tie my shoelaces too. Just even simply breaking that norm gave me a whole different
wow.
perspective. It's like something really easy, or brushing your teeth with your
Yeah.
right hand versus your
Mm,
left. Now it's
yeah.
automatic, but but still holding it with
Well,
a different hand, and then
that's
looking in the mirror and
mm,
observing it. And like, oh, it totally like it flicks another type of switch that can trigger
mm,
other stuff potentially. So it's just yeah, these norms that we've set ourselves up for success through it's
mm,
yes, we do get this output that we want to kind of obey because we know that if we veer offline, we don't know the output as well.
yeah.
But it's a journey. Like driving to the gym, I took one way, usually the highway, and there's no traffic lights as much. But then my mom shared with me last time. It's like, oh, I usually take this inside road residentially, better view, and still not many
Mm,
lights actually.
mm,
So, and then I actually got there a minute faster. So it
Mm,
was like, but
mm,
in my mind, I thought, highway, even though it's longer, you're going faster. I think you'll get there
mm,
better. But so yeah,
mm,
it's kind of this exploration of different. That's it. It
mm,
it might
yeah.
not be wrong, but it's just different,
mm,
and you might not know the outcome. But the change sometimes is risky because that's where
mm,
it exists, right? So just
mm,
laying it on the table is something fun in life that we can potentially do. But sometimes when you're in a block, I think that's an opportunity to try other things that can make it
Yeah.
more fun, right? So
I
mm,
think that's a great idea to
mm.
switch up the
Yeah,
routine. Absolutely.
yeah,
indeed.
yeah, switch up
And
routine
that
basically. Yeah.
that makes me think of, brain neuroplasticity is about creating new neural
Yeah.
pathways by using
Mhm.
your left versus your right.
Yeah.
I did a course on it a while, but it was just really fascinating. There were just some exercises like, swapping and
Yeah.
walking into the shower with your eyes closed and showering with your
Shit, it
eyes
just slipped.
closed.
Boom! No,
Yeah.
no, then I'm bloody
Yeah.
red.
Yeah,
So
exactly. Boom, and
I
bleeding
would have the
face later, and you
guardrail.
open your eyes. That's not water, it's actually blood.
Is it all red? Yeah. Sorry.
So much
Totally.
from, yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah, go
But
ahead.
yeah, it's about that brain, yeah, it's having a whole different experience. And it's I like the what you shared about taking we're so used and conditioned to taking this particular way to get to the gym, to get to the grocery store, but we forget about the five other ways that we could get there, that we might
Mm.
have seen other shops and other people and other
Yes.
environments that, and I think it's just so important to just kind of change things up. So thank you for that, Romy. I think
Oh,
it's
no
something
problem.
that I want to think about, just saying how I can change things up, which I did initially. One of the things that I did to change things up was I signed up for improv class, and I do want to start improv
Oh,
again.
cool.
Improv is
Great.
so fun. I mean,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
initially, once you get over the fear of, oh my goodness, it's improv, like putting
Yeah,
myself out there, just being stupid, and then it's almost like childlike,
yeah.
especially when you can play with someone
Yes.
who's really good at getting in the story, playing that yes and that's just really a metaphor for life, having that yes and versus yes but. Let's work together. Let's see how we can build something together, instead of yes, but this is my perspective. I don't actually agree with you, although I'm saying yes.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
then you
yeah.
kind of close yourself off to what potentially could be
Could have
something
happened.
new, and
Yes.
a new experience, a new
But Luke, do
feeling.
you have um whose line is it
Yeah,
anyway?
I watched
Yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
many years ago, actually.
So Colin
Yeah.
Mockery, one of the
Yes.
Canadians, he's actually linked
Mm,
really closely with Mark Muir, that's from Edmonton over here. And Mark Muir
right.
is one of the dungeon masters in D&D in a Castle when I was
Ah,
in
wow.
UK. Yeah, he's also improv. And then one of
Right.
the general managers too in D&D in a Castle is one of the top UK improvs too. And I work pretty closely. His name
Fantastic.
is Paul. But yeah, I'd love to invite them to give us some like
Oh
tips, and
man,
then we can like play
that would
around
be
and stuff too.
super awesome.
I think that'd
Yeah,
be
you're gonna
so
have
Well,
an
we
fun.
could
improv
do a
session
little
just
improv
then,
session here.
right
Yeah,
now.
yeah,
Just
yeah, yeah, yeah,
bounce
yeah.
around. I think that'll be fine. That'll be
I think I'd be a
fun.
little nervous because, well, apparently it's like it's a freedom of expression, basically,
Expression,
right?
yeah.
Like, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Where it comes out,
um,
where you speak from the heart as it flows out, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
yeah, yeah. But then again, it's like for me, it's when I present, is it interesting to the person? Because it serves two purposes, like one for yourself and one for the observer too, right? So, not
Mm,
that I care, but I do want to learn the skill set behind it. But no, good for you, Luke. I think that is
mm,
fantastic. And yeah, these are all new things that we're looking at today, where human design,
Mm.
improv, and the more
brushing your
the
teeth with the opposite hand.
yeah, I think that seriously changes a lot of things when you like, what was it? I think how there's like a dominant eye that you use for photography is
Mm,
the same thing. When I hold the
mm,
camera, there's
mm.
usually that one eye that I use. Some people use the right. I think more people use left. But I don't know. So it's
Yeah.
realizing what you used to, but then can the other actually work too?
Mm.
And yeah, I'm always curious in terms of like chopsticks too. Like, can you use
Oh
your
man,
left
chopsticks.
hand? Yeah, and surprisingly,
No
if
way.
you just mirror it, no way. It's a good diet program. So because you won't be
Yeah,
eating much.
exactly.
It's like the noodles keep slipping.
The fishbowl
But
keeps running.
yeah, you just stab it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I never use chopsticks to actually clip fish balls. It's you stab
Yeah.
it. They don't run away, so you definitely go in. But yeah, get exploring. I think this is a
Mm,
really really fun subject, and maybe we'll do the human design first, and then we can jump into the improv. But I'm sure they'll be willing to come and host a session for us to kind of
nice. That would be
exist
Yeah.
fun.
in. I think that'd be so awesome. But yes, I think today's topic has been great. I know, Luke, you probably have to go visit your father really soon.
I do indeed.
And I do want to send my, best blessings and, the best health vibes to you, your family,
Thank you.
and, you guys, through this too, get closer with everybody. I think
Mm,
it's a fantastic opportunity too.
definitely
So,
feels that way.
Mhm.
yeah, yeah, and thank
Mm,
you, Andre, too, for
thank you,
enlightening
Andre.
us a little bit
Always.
more and
Mhm.
triggering our both our excitement for
I
us
know,
personally,
man.
but for our children. So it's like, quickly, we're Asher, like, how awesome is he? So I'm like, that's always when I think about these charts and stuff. I'm like, my chart's gonna be fucking awesome. So
Mhm.
and then I look
Yeah.
at it, I'm like, oh crap, there's these deficiencies. So, but yeah, hopefully, if you guys don't mind sharing, like the person that have read your charts, both of you too, and we can also invite
Sure.
them to come give a read for us and maybe some audience members too. So, yeah, any famous last words, Andre or Luke?
Oh, Yeah.
No, all good.
Famous last words, eh? I'm gonna be
Famous
here
last
next month, so
words.
Yeah. Well, for this session, so,
Yeah.
yeah,
I
I'll be back.
I'll be back.
yeah, you'll be back.
I'll be back.
But-
Yeah, it's like get to the chopper.
Get to
Get
the
to the
chopper.
chopper. I'll be back.
Um, famous
Numero
last word.
unoology.
Yeah, exactly. That's my last word. Numero uno. I can't even say
We're
it.
splanic.
But
That's what I
yeah,
learned
splenic.
today. We're splanic.
Yeah, splenic.
But no,
Yes,
I'm sure
yes.
great vibes send out to the universe. Everyone,
Yes.
enjoy lives, and hopefully you got something out of this. And thank you, Andre and Luke, again. Really appreciate this.
Pleasure.
This is
Always
such an
happy to be here.
energy energizer. So, okay,
Yeah.
stay healthy, friends. I will see
Take
you
care. See you
soon.
all